Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to our September Hangout with the Cards. We'll be taking a look at the month ahead as it pertains to career, finances, love, and spiritual growth. I invite you to settle in. This is our first show of the September season. There's a little moth flying around. The decks we'll be playing with this month are my deck, Loveland Autumn Pack. I've pulled out Bubble, which I have not used at all this year, so I'm excited for that. And the Magical Dogs Tarot. We've got the Handbook de los Santos candle burning, and we've got a fun-filled month of September planned for everyone, no matter where you are partaking of this show, be it YouTube on TLC for the Soul or on the podcast. I welcome everyone in, whether you're new, whether you're returning. Thank you so much for joining me here. Just a quick little announcement for September. So our decks of the month are going to be Loveland Autumn, the Magical Dog Tarot, and Bubble. You'll see these throughout the month. I have created our September playlist. So if you're on Spotify or YouTube, our playlist this month, and you can join us over there if you're not. I know the podcast is in many places, but our playlist this month is Elven Lore and Dragonfire, a carefully curated playlist of shows from the past that will help you on your journey this month. I am leaving the August playlist up, so I'll leave the playlist up probably for about 3 or 4 months at a time, and then I'll take them down. So the August playlist was Runaway with the Fae. I found that very helpful. So you can check out the playlist there, and we will also be working with the elves and Pacific Rim fire dragons this month in our monthly meditation. We'll be working with the Pacific Rim fire dragons for our Earth Song, Earth Grid Guardian work, our journey, among many other things I have planned for the month ahead. Right now, though, let's get grounded. Let's get ready to talk about September. Grab yourself something to drink. Sit with me by the fireside. Oh, it's too hot right now for a fire, but I'm recording this August 31st, but it's going to be Labor Day weekend, and it's going to be really hot here, like in the 90s. But it'll be the first 90s we've had all summer. We've had 70s and 80s all summer up here in North Dakota, up by Fargo. So we're getting a little 3-day stint of some 90-degree weather, and then it's going to cool down. So let's take a couple of deep breaths together just to get grounded. Let's do one more. If you've missed us over on YouTube, every Sunday, if you want more content, every Sunday on the podcast only, we do Bringers of the Light. This is where our Handbook de los Santos candle comes from. This month we're still working with our upcoming book, The Seafoam Inn. And we'll have a special Bringers of the Light monthly show this coming Sunday. This is a timeless episode, this timeless reading. And at some point here, I want to do a flip through of this Magical Dogs Tarot. I'm going to bring the book in front of the camera, but the book too is just as amazing as the deck. If you just had the book, I keep saying this. So what I want to do first is I want to get some cards out for the month. Just some overarching energies. I've been trying to get a beat on the energies of the month. This is Bubble. And I'm just not sure. Let's see what we've got here. And the Magical Dogs Tarot. What is going on in this month of September? Of course, we have, energetically, we have Mercury retrograde ending. We have Mabon on the 23rd. We have a harvest super full moon on the 28th. But it just seems more like a quiet month for you to like just ease into the new season, be it the autumn season in the northern hemisphere or the spring season in the southern hemisphere. The first card we got for the month is the Sleepover. Best friends forever. Finish the story. It was the Friday before Halloween, and Justine had invited all her favorite friends to sleep over. They would play games and eat candy and talk about boys. And then it happened. There's a ghost on this card. There's like a we've gotten this card before. There's like a Polaroid picture of like someone's bedroom set up for like a sleepover. And you're supposed to use these cards to actually finish the story. So then what happened? Is it fun happened? Is it something frightening happened? Is it something spooky that happened? I have been reading so many spooky books this month, or leading up to this month. All my spooky books that I've been reading. I highly recommend it. Dracul. So maybe it's just a month where you ease into the fact that the veil is thinning, and you might be drawn to hang out with the ancestors. One of the shows in the playlist this month is going to be the Create a Fall or Autumn Altar Space with me. It's a whispered ASMR video. So let's see what we got from my deck Bubble for September. We got happiness. You are in charge of your own joy. Let's see how these all fit together. We got treat yourself to something sweet with pumpkins and pumpkin pie. And then we got, in the reverse, boundaries. You need to strengthen your shield. So this is not the first time this month that I'm getting this, the first time for this month that I'm hearing this message about stronger boundaries. And both of the happiness card and the boundaries card are kind of like in a shade of green. So it's making me think that in order for you to truly be happy and follow your heart this month, and I'm seeing 9/11 on the timer, which is my Archangel Michael calling card, and that in order for you to be truly happy and following your heart, you're going to have a strong backbone around anyone or anything that might be trying to deter you, I can't even say it, deter you from your goals. So this little crystal is wanting to come in. We're talking about the heart space. So I'm going to put that right there, juicy little heart. And the other cards to go along with this from the Magical Dogs Tarot are the Two of Earth, and I'm going to read from the book for these. Can't see that there. Two of Earth. And the Four of Fire, or the Four of Wands. So let's look at the Two of Earth. What's going on that folks need to be aware of for this month ahead? So if you're listening to this, the Two of Earth in this deck is, oh, the dogs are so cute. A split log rests on a boulder similar to a balance arm, though its fulcrum is far from centered. An old English sheepdog stands on the short end of the arm, while upon the other, longer end, rests the small Shih Tzu, and thus with careful movements and nimble thought, the whole has found its balance point. Both the large and the small demand attention, and with time, even an unbalanced footing can find its stability, for without one, the other will topple. The pause for thought is sometimes what seems like a problem, can be brought into harmony with quick thinking and calm, level-headed understanding of the situation. In an uncertain world, strive to find balance between all things. Keep everything steady and don't let your eye, we were just talking about this, don't let your eye off your goals while trying to juggle all the things in your life. Remember to not take yourself too seriously. So with this card, I think it is quite important to have strong boundaries, like I said, about maybe what others think, or maybe what you might be thinking about your own goals. Like maybe you're just not sure, or maybe you feel intimidated. A sheepdog is kind of like an old softie, and so is a Shih Tzu, so I don't see anything happening there. But maybe the size of the project or the size of the goal is somewhat intimidating. Maybe, I'm going to push my leaves back a little bit. Maybe the project seems too big and you're starting to doubt some of the things you had planned. So just give yourself what you need in order to be successful, no matter what that is this month. And of course, this whole deck, I think all these dogs are always outside. I don't think there's any card where the dog is inside. But, take some time if you're feeling overwhelmed. Get outside. Definitely a lot of tree magic going on in this card. Allow yourself to just, take the time that you need, but not too much time. Like, allow yourself the nurturing that you need, but then stay on track with your goals. Because the other card we had from this deck is the Four of Fire. Let's see, let me find that one. So you see, it's taking me forever. I think the problem here is you may think that it's going to take you too long to do something, and so you might be tempted to give up before you've reached your goal. So you're asked to stay the course, keep on keeping on. Bringing this back in, the Four of Fire, on a day bright and clear, We have come upon 4 upright posts, topped with burning torches, and strung about with greenery and flowers, to form an inviting canopy. In the shade beneath this bower, this low bower, 2 joyous canines lie together. Their expressions speak of a life fulfilled and of great satisfaction. A domed structure of dry stacked stone stands behind. A stable and happy home. More dogs, the family and friends gathered together, run around behind them as if in a dance, dragging about more of the blossomed garland. The community has come together to participate in some jubilant celebration. You don't really need a reason to celebrate, just do it. Make time to enjoy those that you love and your community. It's a time of stability and good fortune, so let your joy overflow and share it with others. Recognizing good times fills your heart and your home with peace and harmony and keeps that good energy flowing. Milestones are important and should be recognized. Remember I was saying, like, celebrate yourself. Take some time out. That's what this, treat yourself to something sweet. Give yourself a bit of a break, and give yourself a bit of a pat on the back for how far you've come. We're coming up on second harvest with Mabon, and maybe you're feeling like you're not as far along as you could be or as you should be, and you're being reminded that wherever you are right now is wherever you need to be. And it's okay if you haven't checked everything off your list right now. What's most important is, are you having fun along the way? Are you enjoying the journey? Or are you just here to check things off your list? Because if you're just here to check things off your list, then you might want to rethink your priorities and why you're doing what you're doing. Is it a race to the finish line? What is it, and why are you feeling the need to go so quickly? Part of being on the spiritual path is enjoying the growth, the journey along the way, the little wins, doing what's necessary to be you. Make your heart sing and enjoy your life. Take a sip of some water, and we're going to do a little 2-pile pick-a-pile. So we're going to do cards for love, career and finances, and spiritual growth, or your spiritual path. What do you most need to know in September? Love, career and finances, and your spiritual path. So pick pile 1 or pile 2. We've laid out the cards, and we're going to pick for pile 1 for, oh my gosh, for love this month. You got the exact same card, the 2 of Earth, about finding balance. So this could be love, like romance and relationship, or it could go back to just being all about the things that you love. Doesn't necessarily have to be about another person, but it can be, but it's all about the balance. It could be, you know, maybe you're needing to balance a relationship out. Maybe you're seeing too much of a certain person, or you're not seeing enough of somebody that you really want to see. Same thing, you can apply this to maybe you're not spending enough time on a certain project and too much on something else. So let's find some balance there with the things that you love, be it people, places, yourself. You're being guided to find that fulcrum, that happy middle of the road thing for you for this month. Let's move this other pile out of the way. For career and finances, you got Ocean. Oops, let's see if we can focus. The card Ocean. Garrett loved to go swimming down at the old boathouse after his wife had gone to bed. He imagined himself as an old sea captain. Oh, we have old sea captains coming in again, who had been lured there on his boat by the sirens. There was magic afoot at the old boathouse. Many a sea traveler had been shipwrecked there since who knows how long. There was even talk of buried treasure. So if you've been following the Bringers of the Light Sundays on the podcast, the last chapter we brought in last week was all about an old sea captain coming in who had been lured to Rockaway Point by the sirens. So for career and finances, there's magic afoot in your career, in your financial world. Buried treasure, there could be some unexpected financial gain this month, or there could be magic in terms of priorities and goals that you've set in the past starting to manifest now in the physical world. Or there could even be divine intervention surrounding your finances. And they're having me look very longingly off camera at a picture of my grandmother in a frame surrounded by roses. It's a black frame with silver roses all around it. And of course, I never knew this person. She passed having my mom. But maybe some windfall is going to be coming in from a long-lost relative or friend. Maybe there's some inheritance money coming to you. That could be quite interesting. So pay attention to your finances this month and know that if you feel like there's not enough, it's always time to be grateful for what you do have and expectant of magic and something more. Your spiritual path this month, you got the trick or treat card. It was the perfect spooky night, Teddy thought, as he put on his Ghoul of the Night Halloween costume and prepared to meet his friends. The Ghoul of the Night waited patiently in the hedgerows, planning out how he would scare unsuspecting trick-or-treaters. So maybe in your spiritual path this month, in order to find growth, in order to keep going on what can be an arduous and long journey, is to have some fun. Bring in some magic, whatever that means for you. For me, it's spooky, fun stuff. It's already the Halloween season. I've already been looking at Samhain and Halloween stuff since last month. Very quietly tempering like my favorite shows for starting in September. So when we have our September energy hangout, I will show you some of the things I have that I will be playing with myself for the month. But overall, for you, it seems very magical, very mystical, very spooky and fun. Allow yourself to receive. Pay attention to what you need. Pay attention to your priorities. And if something seems like it's too arduous, then maybe you need to rethink your why. why you're doing something. And maybe you can, in order to find balance, cut some things out of your list, your checklist. All right, if you chose pile 2, then from Loveland Tarot, this is love. The first thing we had was love. For you, you got Loveland Park. The Smeagol looked on from behind the bushes, too scared to step forward and make new friends. When I get the Smeagol, it's all about, it'll be like a secret admirer, someone very shy or lacking the confidence to step forward and tell you how they feel. You, it feels like secret admirer vibes. Be that, you know, a romantic partner, a friend, just someone in your community that maybe that really admires you. Maybe it really admires your work, but they're admiring from afar. And it's kind of like, wow, I wish I could do that or be like that person. I wish I had the courage to step forward and maybe ask this person for some help. So maybe there's someone who could benefit from you as a steward or a guardian or a teacher, or a mentor, but they're too shy to step forward and admit that to you. And so you may have to have your master eyes, your master senses turned on, and pay attention to someone who may kind of be hanging around in the shadows, not in a spooky, creepy way, but in more of an admiring, like shy way. And it may be you as possibly an elder to this person or a teacher to kind of be the bigger person, step forward and take this little shy wallflower person under your wing this month and show them who you really are. Show them your light inside. Let them know that they're not alone. For career and finances, you got 2 cards from Bubble. Oh, and they're both story cards. Oh my God, and they're my favorites. The first one is Undead. Jeremy could feel something touch his shoulder. He smiled as he saw his grandmother's face in his mind's eye. Abby often watched over her grandson, appearing to him as a small bird, a whispered song, and a soft breeze on his skin. So I feel like some of you may have picked both piles, because for career and finances, again, for this pile, we have ancestors coming in. We just talked about in pile number 1 about grandmothers and inheritances and things coming in, magic coming into your finances from possibly an unknown source that you didn't know was around, maybe some long lost relative. Don't know. In this case, it could be more along the lines of your ancestors, not necessarily like dropping a bag of cash, but more like supporting your work and just letting you know that they're around, that they honor the work that you're doing, especially if you're on a spiritual path. The ancestors could be very tuned in to your spiritual growth because the work that you're doing is helping clear ancestral lines and past karma and paving the way forward for a new legacy of love. And so you're being honored. The second card that came out for career and finances is Bonfire. The group gathered around the fire circle to hear the tales of spooky ghosts, vampires, and cunning gnomes. Cheryl wasn't scared. She knew they were just stories. The ghost, vampire, and gnome watched the small group around the bonfire from their vantage point in the tall grass. The gnome smiled, and the vampire snickered as the ghost giggled at the sound of the silly stories. So this is all about having fun with your work, and that you are being, again, supported. These are both about support. Supported by ancestors, supported by your guides, supported by the other realms, supported by those beyond the veil who want to see you succeed, and believing in the magic of whatever path you're on, whatever career you've chosen, whatever stories you've decided to tell about yourself, your own value, your own self-worth. So it may be time to reevaluate. We've got so many planets in retrograde, might as well keep on reevaluating. But reevaluate the value and the worth you place upon yourself and your work, because your guides are stepping in double here with 2 cards, supporting you and saying that you are not valuing your work enough. And that could be that you need to see yourself in a different light, which will change the way you go about the work that you do, or could even drive you, if you feel like you're undervalued, to seek out a new career or a new option for the work that you're doing in the world. You may be guided to take on some sort of a side hustle, hobby, or whatever, doing something you really love to do that's more spiritual in nature. And for those of you that are already doing the work that you love, you're being guided to reevaluate how you charge for the work that you do, because it may be time to increase your prices or your fees a little bit more. Really make sure that based on your tenure, your level of service. So if you've been doing something for quite some time, you're no longer like a bard, which is a bard, kind of like a bard in the beginning, may not earn very much. But if you're like a seasoned wizard at what you do, or a seasoned storyteller, or a seasoned master craftsman, or whatever, then you're no longer at the beginning of your career. And if you're self-employed, it's time to reevaluate your fee structure and make sure that you're not undervaluing yourself, because there is something there with the law of attraction that you need to pay attention to. If you're undervaluing yourself, then you're not going to get the clientele that you really deserve at this point. This is going really long. You're not going to get the clientele you really deserve at this point, because at this point it seems like they're saying you're more of a master craftsman, and it's time for you to start bringing in clients that are of a higher financial stature and that are able to pay more for what you are doing and what you're offering. So it's like you're leveling up in your career, but you have to be willing to realize that and to make sure that you're charging enough. And it doesn't happen, it's not that you kind of have to look at the way you're charging for your work in the perspective of, once you start to value yourself more and increase your fee schedule or your price list or whatever, then you bring in the higher finances and the higher paying clientele. It's not the other way around. The higher paying clientele don't show up first, and then you decide to raise your prices. You kind of have to value yourself enough, raise your schedule, your fee schedule or whatever, and then those people will be brought to you by way of law of attraction. So pay attention, don't undervalue yourself this month. Your guides are coming in twice to make sure that you are kind of charging what you need to charge for the work that you do. And on your spiritual path, the card that we got For you is the Three of Sky. This is the Three of Swords. I am going to read from the book on this. And I guess I can hold it up a little bit more. And we've got a little green light in the background, which is making the cards look a little not as vibrant as they normally would, but I trust how I'm guided to set things up. So this is the Three of Sky. An ominous sky pours out its watery fury on the desolate land below. 3 members of the Sky Pack have found their journey interrupted and their fellowship broken. Biting hail has turned to driving rain and offers no swift solace to their predicament. The unrelenting storm has turned dry gullies to swift raging streams and has cut them off from each other. Trapped upon their different banks, the distances between them have grown too wide to leap, and the waters too swift to swim in. One turns in sorrow to look upon his companions. Another howls in her loneliness, and the third casts a heartbreaking gaze at the swiftly rising waters that threaten to separate them further. Heartbreak may be part of life, but knowing that doesn't make it hurt any less. You may be facing a separation or are feeling rejected and lonely. These feelings might make you want to avoid relationships and withdraw from others in the future. But no dog is an island. In time, you'll be able to feel the pain, release it, and go forward with a courageous heart. The keywords are heartbreak, separation, lonely, loss, and rejection. So on your spiritual path, you're feeling a little, just a little lonely. The fact that this is pile 2 and you got 2 cards that we're talking very, very much about your self-worth and your value. You could be my twin flames in separation. You could just be feeling maybe you are being asked to travel and are being taken away from loved ones this month. And from a spiritual perspective, it's all about being happy with where you're at on your journey. The spiritual journey is often a very solitary one, and you may be someone who's like, I don't, just like this Smeagol, I don't want to be alone anymore. I want a community. I want to come out from behind the mask, come out from behind the bushes, come out from the corner, and be more of who I am in the world. You may be put in some situations, again, with this valuing of your self-worth, where you're being asked to step forward and show more of who you really are to the world. It could feel weird. It could feel uncomfortable. But if you don't do these things, then you keep yourself from growing any further. Remember, no one puts baby in a corner. Pay attention to the need to self-isolate. Find that balance of, being in the shadows or wanting to be in your room behind closed doors and needing to get out there and be with others, either your family, your friends. This season, be it spring or fall, no matter what hemisphere you're in, is all about gatherings. And, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's about the corn mazes and the pumpkin patches and the getting out there and having fun. And wearing your witch hat with pride, no, you don't have to put it on in front of everybody, but on the spiritual path, you're the one that has the higher perspective. You're the one that sees beyond the illusions of the 3D matrix. And while that may feel self-isolating in and among itself, it's also very freeing. And you can be one foot in both worlds at the same time. You can be the spiritual master, the wizard, the high priest or high priestess. And you can still go to the pumpkin patch and hang out with the 3D, hang out with the muggles. and understand them for who they are. Fellow souls who have not yet awakened to the magic inside. And you can have compassion for your journey as well as you have compassion for their journey. And be grateful and full of gratitude to the fact that you are awake to who you truly are inside. So we are going to pull up these cards. That's all we have for pile 2. And we're going to draw one closing card for everybody from Bubble Bubble. What does everybody need to know right now to close out this September card reading? What do my friends need to know? The last card is, oh, it's the same card, Undead. Jeremy could feel something touch his shoulder. He smiled as he saw his grandmother's face in his mind's eye. Abby often watched over her grandson, appearing to him as a small bird, a whispered song, and a soft breeze on his skin. Ancestors coming in very heavily right now for everyone. Check out our playlist this month. We've got the Build a Fall Altar Space whispered ASMR video. It's an Ancestors altar. We've got the Bubble Bubble flip through and the Loveland Autumn flip through. Pay attention as the veil is thin to your guides reaching across the mists to give you their support, their guidance, their wisdom, their love, healing, and protection. September feels like a very magical, mystical, fun, middle grade spooky month ahead. And from my heart to yours, I thank you so much for joining me here. And we will see you again soon.